about to go in and get our tattoos. This is my first tattoo for Brock.
This is my second tattoo for Tay.
What was your first for me?
A book. We'll show them all of our tattoos.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll show you all of our
little
tattoos.
tattoo tour.
Tattoo tour.
This will be my 7th, lucky number 7.
This will be my 24th tattoo.
My age.
Nice.
Cool.
Let's go.
Okay, we went to Haley. She's like the family tattoo artist. She did my eyebrows and Brock's first tattoo. I talked with her about where to put it and the size and everything, and we came up with on my hand, and yeah.
Very cute. Like it?
Yeah.
Now it's my turn. Both these tattoos went super fast and were pretty pain-free. We were in and out in about 30 minutes. All right, I got 24 tattoos, so buckle up. And I'm gonna go in roughly chronological order. I can't quite remember exact chronological order, but I'll do my best. The first tattoo that I got was the word 11. This is what I got on my 18th birthday. I never thought I would get a tattoo before this one, but it was kind of spontaneous, and my dad and I got it together. Now all 4 members of my family, my mom, dad, sister, and myself, all have the same word in the same location, just with a different font. I got this geometric sunset with a mountain just because I love the beach, I love the mountains, not much more to it. The third tattoo that I got was the anatomical heart with a cross going through it, and it's supposed to be a visual representation of the Bible verse 1 John 3:20. Next was another Bible tattoo. This was Isaiah 40 verses 29 through 31, and I designed this myself. I drew it myself. The tattoo is literally exactly from my sketchbook, and if I could do it all over again, I would do this one a little bit differently. I think I would either get my dad's handwriting or I would get it in a typewriter font, and that's because this tattoo actually has some meaning behind it, and it's that when I was a high school football quarterback, my dad gave me a hand towel, and inside the towel was this verse kind of sewn into it, and so it's kind of special between my dad and I. After that, I got the Ferdinand the Bull tattoo, which was my favorite book growing up. My mom would read it to me every night, and I think that Ferdinand the Bull and I have a very similar life story. Next, after my childhood dog passed away, I went to this super talented artist in San Francisco who specializes in animal portraits, and he gave me this super detailed tattoo of my childhood dog Maui with a crown on his head. A few months after that, I got my first thigh tattoo, which is this donut. I got it because I flippin' love donuts. Then I got 2, let's call them amateur tattoos. The first one is these 8 tally marks. This was given to me by a friend with a kit that we bought off Amazon, and it represents the 8 bones that I've broken in my life. And then Sierra, my sister, gave me this super faint 4-leaf clover. It's faint because she was scared to push very hard and hurt me. And it's a 4-leaf clover because we're both Irish and her middle name is O'Day, so it's kind of a nod to her. Then I got what I think is one of my funniest and most creative tattoos right below this huge scar that I have on my collarbone from when I had reconstructive surgery. I have these little dashed lines and cut here. I think this tattoo is a great way to make light of a very painful injury. Also on my chest is this huge American eagle, which I was inspired to get after dressing up as Conor McGregor for Halloween and having a fake tattoo on my chest. After that, I got these 3 skulls on the back of my forearm, and most people think this is a reference to the see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, but actually this is a reference to a Jimmy Valvano quote from a speech he gave at the ESPYs where he said that he's not scared to die because he's lived a full life, and he knows he's lived a full life because he's done 3 things every single day. He's laughed, he's cried, and he's spent time in thought. So that's what these skulls represent. Essentially, a reminder to live life to the fullest. After that, on the back of my tricep, I got a Hawaiian woman, and more specifically, this is the logo for Mama's Fish House on the island of Maui. I let each of my grandparents pick a tattoo that would represent them, and my Grandma Johnson picked this one. Right below that, I got the old school CA California Aggie logo. This was one of UC Davis's first logos, so not only does it represent my California origins, it also represents where I went to college. After that, we're taking a trip back down south to my thigh, where I let my friend give me these 2 tattoos. This first one is a scythe that was supposed to say just a breath away, which I realize is kind of morbid, but it comes from this expression memento mori, which is that life is short and you should live your life as if death is just around the corner. It's just a breath away. And this is probably the one tattoo that I would regret. I definitely need to get this touched up. Also on my thigh and done by my friend is better at 70. Justin Bieber has the same tattoo, and basically this just means that I believe my life is going to continue to get better and it hasn't peaked yet. My personal favorite tattoo is this find joy on my ribs. This was by far the most painful. It took like 5.5 hours of just sitting there. I had basically nothing to eat that day. It was excruciatingly painful, and I actually had to lay down for about an hour afterwards just to catch my breath, but it's my only color tattoo. I think it's super rad. I think it's super unique, and it was done by a professor of color theory who works at Portland State and does tattoos out in Portland, Oregon, and it's my life motto, find joy. Rather than trying to seek out happiness and constantly trying to pick something up that's like sand going through your fingers, seek out joy in everything you do. Next on the list is my book tattoo, which a lot of people think is because I'm an open book, but actually it's symbolic of my relationship with Tay. One of the first times that we reconnected on Instagram was because I asked for book recommendations and she sent me a list. On our first date, she gave me a book so that there would definitely be a second date. And then on that second date, we went to a library. So the book is for Tay. Speaking of Tay, I let her give me one, which was this little tiny movie clapper on my thigh, and it represents my love of movies. Right after she gave me that, I decided to give myself a tattoo. I wrote the word notes on my hand with stick and poke, which is basically where you're just sticking yourself over and over again with a single needle rather than using a full-on tattoo kit. And I wrote the word notes because I'm always writing notes on my hand. It's one of my things. Then it's time for another non-professional tattoo. This jellyfish was given to me by one of my UC Davis teammates, and I think it actually turned out really well. I got this because I thought it looked cool, and one of my favorite movies is 7 Pounds. If you know, you know. Then I got this super detailed astronaut right above my elbow, and I got this just because, again, I thought it looked cool, and I was in New York when I got this, and the artist that I got it from specialized in super detailed tattoos like this. Second to last, and definitely not least, one of my most sentimental and meaningful tattoos is this right here that says, "I'll always be your golden retriever." The story behind this is that when I was playing high school football, I was really tough on myself, and I was being coached by my dad, my uncle, and my grandpa. My dad and uncle were always going to be tough on me, and my grandpa was already known as someone who's tough on everyone. But one day, after an especially tough game, my grandpa called me into his office and said, "Brock, I know that your dad and uncle are pit bulls, so I'll always be your golden retriever. I'll always be in your corner, and I'll always be your biggest fan." And that meant so much to me. That was really one of the most special moments of my life. And even though my grandpa now has Alzheimer's and can no longer write, Tay, for my birthday, reached out to my grandma and collected a bunch of my grandpa's old letters that he had written, and then she gave those to her mom, which is my mother-in-law, and she was able to, in Photoshop, basically like create her own alphabet of my grandpa's handwriting and then piece together those letters into a note as if he had written it, even though he had probably never actually written these words out. Then they presented it to me for my birthday, and I got it as a tattoo. I have it framed in my office, and it's really special. And then my most recent tattoo, the one that I got today, was Marry Tay, because on the day of the wedding, I was like, hey, I should write a note on my hand because it would be weird if I had a notes tattoo but no notes written. And so one of my groomsmen said, hey, you should write Marry Tay. So I wrote it. It's in a bunch of our wedding photos, and now it's on my hand forever.
Okay, I'll do my tattoos in order. First one I got when I was 18. I was just kind of itching to get a tattoo, and I got it from my grandma. Growing up, she would always let me know when there was a full moon or any kind of special moon, and she would always text me Moon Taylor Moon, and it just was like kind of our thing. So I got a little crescent moon on the inside of my wrist. Next, for my 20th birthday, I got Dare Greatly on the other forearm, and it's from the Teddy Roosevelt quote, but I learned it through Brene Brown, and I really embraced it. It still means a lot to me. It's something that I think about all the time still. Next is my Be Good on the top of my hand. My parents never really talked to me about college or like pushed me towards it or anything, or pushed me towards anything really. They just kind of supported whatever I wanted to do. And they let me know that they didn't really have any expectations for me and what I did with my life. The only thing that they wanted is for me to be a good person. And so like leaving the house, it was never, don't do this, don't do that, remember to do this. It was just be good every time I left the house, and even now. So I got Be Good. And my next tattoo was on the inside of my ribs. It's a poppy and lavender. My mom went through like a lavender phase when I was little, and everything was lavender, and it just reminds me of her. And then the poppy for California, it's just a pretty bouquet. Next, I got these at the same time. My yellow sunglasses and my little brain with a flower coming out of it. The brain with the flower coming out of it is for mental health, and I just wanted something that represented that topic without it being cliche, and I like the flower coming out of it. I think it's cute and it's pretty, and to me it just means that you can grow a little bit, and it's a pretty tattoo. My yellow sunglasses are for my stepdad. He used to have a yellow sports car when I was really little, before my little brother was born, and I had matching yellow sunglasses, and I would wear those when I would drive around in the sports car with him, and his favorite color is yellow and my favorite color is yellow, so that's my only colored tattoo. And then my most recent one is this little rain cloud because it rained on our wedding day. I originally knew I wanted to get something for Brock, but nothing really stuck. Then it rained on our wedding day, and it's directly above my ring finger. So I didn't want a finger tattoo, but I wanted it close enough.